Listen, today one thing, it's another, bro. Damn, I don't even have my lights on.
Yeah, I was gonna say we finally got up here when it started. We didn't sneak in on everybody just after the bell. So what's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? And make sure that you go to Twitter, you go to Crypto Nightly, and you repost the stream.
Yes,
Not
sir.
that I'm doing that right now, but
I've already did that.
maybe I did it. Now. So there we are. But thank you all for joining us. Desert, how you doing? Happy Wednesday, man.
It is
Happy
Wednesday. And the rain has started. It's supposed to rain and snow tonight and snow tomorrow. And then we'll be in the 60s again by Sunday. So
see, that was why I was asking you earlier if you were in a blizzard, because I was over here sweating my what's off. And I figured I was going to ask you if you were freezing your what's off.
That was last week.
But awesome. So what do we got going on, man? Have you seen anything exciting or anything that's caught your attention here today?
Well, we reclaimed the daily the 200 daily moving average, which is super bullish. The question is, can we hold it? We will find out.
Yeah. So basically, no matter what's going on, it could go up or it could go down.
Could go up, could go down. So far, we're still holding. We are still holding, so that's good. Oh, no, we just lost a little bit. But, I mean, we got that nice bullish div on the daily, which we'll go over, I think
absolutely.
My stop loss just got hit on my Bitcoin trade that I've been in all day. So just not a lot of liquidity right now. The price is going up, just not very fast.
Sheesh. So I found one article that has like 6 articles that I read last week in one paragraph for today.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like looking at it because it kind of has to do with what we got going on here with the market, and they have their comment on the market, but they have like a bunch of things mashed together. What's up, Fozzie? Right. How are we doing, sir?
What's going on, Fozzie?
And let's see. The other thing we need to do is we got to get a voiceover video for the mint. We got to do that for sure. And shout out to everybody else that's just joining in. Thank you guys for joining us. Happy Wednesday. This is Crypto Nightly. I hope you guys checked out the MetaMask consensus video. I got a DM after I put the video out because I talked about Revo, and they were like, "Oh, by the way, Consensus is also a Bitcoin conference, or is like also a crypto conference that I work for." And I was like, "Oh, well, yeah." I still had to get my little shill in there for Rare Evo. I was like, "I hope you guys and MetaMask out there. That'd be great." But. So yeah, there's that. Check out the video. It's really good. I feel like in this space, there are a lot of really good people that are building some really cool things. And Michael is one of them. Shout out to MetaMask. Shout out to Consensus. And shout out to, Wallet Guard. It's awesome. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it's a real good concept for sure.
For sure. All right. So then, I don't know. I'm feeling like we'll just hit the middles, reset the room, go into Market Watch.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we can take a look at the market, see what's going on. Before we do that, everybody do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, share this with a friend. If everybody liked this video, we have more people. That's just how it works. We come live to you Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. PST, bringing you the daily news nightly. Also, if you're on X, tag some DGens, give us a repost, all that good stuff.
Absolutely. And then also, if you haven't made it over to TikTok, whether you use TikTok or not, make sure you're following us on TikTok. We're getting up there, man. We're getting up there. We got like 67 subscribers or followers on TikTok. Trying to hit that 100 mark, because they say if you hit that 100, then, it's like, that's where we're starting. So we're trying to get to that 100 mark. So everybody that's helped us so far, we appreciate you all. Everybody that hasn't, if you could do us the favor, hop over to TikTok and look up Crypto Nightly and give us a follow. We put out content there from all of our streams. So throughout the day, when you're scrolling, you'll see some breaking crypto news, right?
That's right.
So I'll hit the Rare Evo one, and then you can do the other. Sound good?
Yeah, that'll work.
Join us at Rare Evo, the top blockchain conference, August 6th through 10th, 2025, at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. The top blockchain projects like Algorand, Midnight, HBAR, ICP, Thorchain, and Igon, and many more are going to be there. This is definitely a must for blockchain enthusiasts and fans. Use discount code CryptoNightly to save on your tickets and to support the channel. Don't miss it. We can't wait to see you there. It's going to be a blast.
And we also, at the end of this month, will be relaunching the JPEG Boss Mint. This is going to be a community-focused investment group that's going to be powered. We're taking 50% of all Mint funds are going into a community wallet that will be controlled and essentially governed by the community. You will vote to decide where we invest, how much we invest, all that good stuff. And the rewards will be paid out to active members of the community. So as long as you're participating, you're going to earn the rewards. So that will reopen the end of this month for 99 ADA. And hey, ADA is only like 73 cents right now. So less than $99.
Yes. True.
That's what we got.
True. All right. Awesome. So let's go into Market Watch and see what's going on.
All right, let's take a look at this. Ooh, I got the wrong background on. What is going on there? And that is not what I want to show. But if you do want a non-KYC trading platform, we have a link in the description for Bitunix. This is the trading site. I still use MEXC, but I know a lot of people don't have a Plow ID, don't have access to a VPN, all that good stuff. Well, Bitunix is the place for you. And we do have a referral code in the description. I went ahead and funded this with $498. I've been doing some trades, only up $3 because I had some losses today, and I'm still trying to figure out what the. So we had a decent loss right here, and then we just been hitting green trades all day. If you're in our Discord and you are a whale, a junkie whale, or a boss royal, we do have a specific section called the trading group setups and discussions. In here, I post all my trades, all my setups. It's kind of hard posting a lot of these setups because I'm doing them off my phone. Usually I'm at work, so I may not get all the setups I'm going through posted, but I get most of them put in there. And then we also have there's other parts of it, group discussions, all that stuff. Let's get the freshest data on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. Looks like we fell today, 1.1%, coming in at $2.796 trillion. Pretty low volume on a Wednesday, coming in at 122 billion. Bitcoin dominance at 59.3, Ethereum at 8.21, and ETH transactions are apparently free today. So We got Bitcoin coming in at 83,555. Really struggling with that 84,000 SR level. We wicked up to it last night, got rejected, tried to hit it again today, got rejected. So we're still fighting with that. Ethereum coming in at 1902, down 0.7. XRP at 224, up 0.21 or 2.1. BNB at 569, up 3.2. Solana at 125, up 0.2. We have Cardano at 73 cents, down 0.1. Doge with a nice pump today at 1715, up 4.2. We got Tron at 2228 at 0.1. And where is SWI? Falling further down the list to 227 at 0.9%. Biggest gainers on the day are going to be Pi Network. So Pi Network is at 173, up 225. Story IP is gaining again at 14.6. Celestia is at 11.7. Pepe is at 11.3. Avalanche is at 8.6. Sonic at 5.4, and so on. Not a lot of not a lot of big gainers, but we do have a lot of green. Let's check out the biggest losers. Athena is down 5.8. Hyperliquid down 6.4. We got Flare down 4.6. It's kind of weird that Flare's down and XRP is up, but I mean, I understand they're not the same project, but usually if XRP pumps, Flare tends to pump. We got Aave at 3.9 cents. Movement, or 3.9%. Movement's down. Size down. So we do have a Cia Red also, but the biggest loser is only down 5.8%. Let's take a look at the charts. Let's go to the daily Bitcoin. And as you can see, we did regain the 200. We are actually still above the 200. It's shaky, but we are above it. So this candle is only an hour and 15 minutes old. But if we can print, man, if we get back above the 200, it's also going to put us back above this 84,000 SR level. And then we can start moving our way back up through the resistance levels. I don't know why this one's here. But you can see we have another one at 86. It's going to be this price action, this price action. You know, not so much back here. We got a couple wicks that go down to it. But you got that high volume node right there. Then our next peak is going to be at 89,000. And then we have a nice sweep up to about 96,000. We are still have the bullish div playing out. As you can see right here, got those uneven butt cheeks with the money flow. Nice and round to the upside. VWAP is moving to the upside. Momentum is moving to the upside. So, I mean, we're looking good for Bitcoin. But I'm telling you, this 84,000 level has just been giving us problems. As you can see, we've been fighting it since Sunday, trying to get back above 84,000. We lost it back here Sunday morning, and then just boom, hit our head, drop. Boom, wick to it, can't get above it, can't get above it, can't get above it. And we've just been fighting that all day. So I think when we do finally break this, we're going to see a nice little push. And when we look at the 2 hour, we do have that nice money flow coming back into the green. Boom, boom. Probably going to get something like that. VWAP is starting to come down a little bit. But if we stay bullish, it'll probably come down just a little bit, reset, go back to the upside. Momentum going to the upside. Don't really see, let's see here. We might have a, what is that? There might be, there's a slight bearish div on the price action. You can see on the 2 hour, we're kind of flat, right? And on the price action, we have ever so slightly to the upside. But that can change. That can definitely change. Let's look down here. We have a bunch of a bunch of coins that are battling SR levels. As you can see, 229 is a big level right here. And we go to the 2 hour, look, we've been fighting it since yesterday. Once again, we lost it. So we lost this on Monday, almost lost it on Sunday, got a little relief. Then we lost the level, boom, all the way down under 211. And we just been fighting for the past 2 days, trying to get back above it. Wick to it, wick above, wick. And then right now we are still wicking, trying to get above it. Money flow, nice and curved to the upside. Green dot, momentum wave, VWAP, everything pointed to the upside. Got some good DBIS numbers, even though we are printing a red candle. And I think it's because this 50 moving average right here is starting to give us a little bit of resistance. But if we can break that, we start getting above 229. Then we zoom in a little bit, or zoom out a little bit, bring in some more data. You can see we got a high volume node we'll have to compete with at 235. And then we got a little bit more volume at 242. So we're going to have some stops along the way. But the next major area is going to be at about 265. Because if we go out to the daily, this is going to be that 265 is going to be like that last little dip right here, right at the beginning of this high volume node before we start trying to move back up. But you can see on the daily, we have lost the 200 on the daily for SWE, and we've had a bearish cross for the 21 crossing over the 200. We did just get the double green dot on the daily, but money flow, it looks like it might be ticking up a little bit. So we did get a little cut back to the upside, as you can see right there. VWAP going up, and we got the big green dot on the daily. So not looking too bearish, but being under this 200-day moving average is super bearish, that in of itself. Let's see here. I think we might be, if we pull from the impulse here, oops, that's not what I wanted. If we pull from the impulse to the top, you can see we've lost the 786, and we actually threatened to come all the way down. We actually threatened to come all the way down to the 1.82, which is going to be super bearish. And that's just pulling from here. I mean, you could pull from here, but this is basically the impulse of the move right here. You see, back in November is where it really boom and then just took off. And we've given all of that back. Pretty much all of that back. So we definitely need a bullish reversal. We need Bitcoin to continue its way to the upside. Cardano on the daily, we had lost it. We got a relief. We bounced back above it. And now we are fighting with this 74-cent SR level. If we go down to the 2 hour, you can see we just been battling it. Same situation. Sunday, we lost it. It's pretty much like, watch, Bitcoin. Look at that. That's Bitcoin. Sunday, we lose it. We get back up it to its SR level, and then we start fighting it, right? Look at ADA. Boom. Sunday, we lose it. We get back above its SR level, come down, and then start fighting it like that. Let's see if I can. No, that's not what I want. Why is that not on the same? Why won't it let me change it to the 2 hour? I don't understand why that won't let me change it to the 2 hour. Well, it doesn't look like we are going to be able to compare these, I guess. Oh, no, wait a minute. Daily.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. If you hit it 2 hour there, will it?
It's not showing any of my indicators on here. But if we bring these up, you can see how similar these two look right here. You know, down, up, boom, down, up, boom. I mean, they're looking very, very similar, the Bitcoin and the Cardano chart. So
what's up, hybrid family? And hey there, sheesh. I mean, Crypto King, but I was just gonna say Daniel, and it's always like in the moment, always like puts me off. So I'm just like Daniel, Crypto King, in the moment. Hybrid family, Fozzie.
I'm reading the private chat right now. That's so funny.
Yeah. We were doing some deep project analysis on new projects in Cardano ecosystem.
That is super
some of them have
funny.
some really good ideas, you know?
Yeah. It's true. So let's bring up XRP. Look, XRP looks damn near the same too. Look at that. That's XRP on the 2 hour with its SR level at 223, right? Or at 223.27. We've been battling it all day, you know, and this is definitely looking like a flag, like it's wanting to take off, right? XRP, Cardano. I mean, they're so similar. All these coins are, it's like they're just in a holding pattern waiting for Bitcoin to get that move. So it's good.
Or they're waiting out for jobs. The jobs report or whatever it is that we're waiting on still here shortly.
Well, we are waiting on that, the unemployment report. So we are waiting.
Shout out to Steve Hoppy.
Have a good one, Steve Hoppy. So, and speaking of that, bringing up Forex Factory. So core CPI, and CPI year over year all came in under expectations. And this is bullish. I'm not going to say who it was, but somebody was arguing with the influencer earlier today. And the influencer was saying that this is bearish, that we want the numbers higher, so the lower rates. And he's not understanding it. This is measuring inflation. If inflation is coming down, then they're more likely to lower the rates, because the whole reason in raising the rates is to battle inflation, right? They raise the rates, which makes borrowing and lending more expensive. Therefore, people can borrow less and they spend less, you know, because inflation is essentially people buying too much stuff. There's too much money printing. You know, the stimmy checks went out. People just had all this kinds of money. So they start buying stuff, and all the producers are like, oh, well, let's just raise the price a little bit, raise the price a little bit, raise the price a little bit, right? I mean, that's a very crude explanation of inflation, but that's essentially what it is. So these numbers came in bullish. So that just shows that our month over month core CPI, our CPI, and our year over year are all showing bullish. Granted, it's not a true representation. I can't remember, because they track a basket of assets, and it doesn't cover food or energy. I don't think food and energy are in these. But when we bring up the chart, you can tell that this is definitely a downtrend, you know, on the macro scale. Obviously, we have dips and everything like that, but except for this, like this little outlier right here, which is above or about even with these, the overall downtrend of inflation is to the downside. And this is back to 2021. You can see, you know, this is the pandemic. You know, we had negative inflation during the pandemic. That's May. So this is right when it, kicked off. March, April, May, June. And then it started going up, boom, 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 as stimmy checks started to go out all the way to like July 21st or July 21. And then we start to go back down. And that's going to be the core. And then even on your regular CPI, I don't know the difference, but we got that downtrend. And then where to go year over year, you can see, we had a sharp, this is about, when they were really getting crazy with the interest rates. You can see how it came down so quick, right? And then they stopped raising the rate. And then we just been slowly tapering off on the inflation right there. But as to John's point, tomorrow we have core PPI, which is the purchase index, power purchase index. I can't remember what it stands for.
Purchase power index, I believe.
Something like that.
I think it's purchase power index.
Something like that.
Also, before you go on from this topic, I want you to click the link in private chat and give your hot take and thoughts on the information on Trueflation.
Okay. But as you can see, we got unemployment claims coming out tomorrow. So last week, I think this is a week by week basis, right? March 6th, February 27th, February 20th. Yeah. So this is a weekly report that comes out. So last week was 221,000 claims. Their forecast is 226. So they're even forecasting more unemployment claims as it is, and which is a good thing. It sucks people are out of work, but you want your unemployment numbers to go up because that's part of his dual mandate when it comes to lowering rates. So we want to see at least coming in at forecast. It would be a lot better if we see a higher number, because then that's, above forecast. That means more people are out of work. Once again, we don't want people out of work, but for them to lower rates, you want like a soft CPI, you know what I mean? You want a soft JOLTS report, and you want a high unemployment report. Those are the factors that are going to help, I don't want to say help us get, but those are the factors that are going to take into consideration when they go to rate cuts or whatnot. So next thing, Bitcoin options, max pain for the end of this month. Durbit is 85,000 with 11 billion nominal. Binance is the highest at 90,000 nominal. And OKX is at 86,000. So if you average those out, it's what, like 87.8 or something like that is going to be the average max pain price. And that's only 16 days away, a little over 2 weeks away. So, and then fear and greed, all the way back up to, which is crazy. It went all the way back up to 45, and we're still, we're only up $4,000 from the bottom. It's already all the way back up to 45 on the fear and greed. So, all right, that's what I have there. It looked like Bitcoin was dipping. We had lost the 1 minute on Bitcoin, but it looks like we must have regained it. Yeah, so we did just regain it.
PPI, producer price index. It could be.
There we go.
Right? The third Patriot says, isn't it PPI producer price index? Look, you're right. You're right.
There we go.
But
what do we say? Production power index?
I said purchase price. Or
right. Yeah, producer
power.
Price index. Right. So yeah, we did regain the 1 minute on Bitcoin. So we still might see 84,000 tonight. It is quite possible. But let's check out this link that John gave me.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty crazy. Numbers were pretty jarring. Kind of interesting.
Trueflation.
Big if true, you know?
Trueflation, 26.27%.
But it's
So
aggregated.
Trueflation US aggregate inflation index. So I don't know. That seems a little high. Compounded
Doesn't it?
inflation rate since January 2020. Okay. No, I guess that doesn't seem a little high. Not if it's compounded. But yeah, you can see, where's this, right? Where are we at? So this is this month from 24 up. Let's go to the max. Yeah, look at that. So that's from February 1st, right around when the mainstream first started learning about COVID. And we had that little dip right there. That's that March dip, just like we showed, just like it showed back here. Just like it showed back here. Right here, that's that March, April into June on the core year over year. Trueflation, same thing. You see that March right into the April, May, June starts to go up. It doesn't surprise me that it's at 26%. It's above my knowledge to be able to calculate that, but it makes sense because you're going year over year. If year over year was 2%, but last year over year was 5%, that 2% compounds on top of that 5%, and both of those are going to compound on, say, 2020 if year over year was like 6%, and it makes sense, you know what I mean? But that's just crazy, and everybody knows. And this probably takes into account more factors than like CPI does, because like I said, CPI is, I think it's everything minus here. You know what? We're not just gonna speculate.
Yeah, and I will say the thing that I like about Trueflation is I believe that they won like a multi-million-dollar grant or something from Chainlink, and Chainlink actually, like incubated them. So they're like a Chainlink product.
The average change. So it's a basket of goods and services commonly purchased by consumers. Food, transportation, medical care, and other merchandise items. Ongoing change of the cost. That's not what I want. I want to know what's excluded. I think.
Well, I was going to say, ask that. Ask what's excluded from this CPI. I think it's like the price of energy and the cost of gas, and it's like a bunch of things that, like the price of eggs, something like that.
So excludes several items: life insurance, securities, financial costs, and housing prices. These are considered investment items. Portion healthcare paid back. Additionally, illegal goods. Well, yeah, duh. Of course, we're not going to calculate in illegal goods and services. I don't see energy on there though. I could have swore that energy was not calculated in it, or gas. But either way, this, even without knowing, how it's actually calculated, right? I seen a meme where they were doing potatoes. They were coloring potatoes instead of eggs.
Oh, it's funny. But, and then you just eat potatoes.
But yeah, I don't know exactly how they calculate it, but this does seem more, closer. Because
hit where it says fact sheet.
A gallon of milk here is like $4.79. Well, in 2020, it was like $3. So everything is through the roof. I mean, go to McDonald's. You can't get McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King. You can't get a decent combo meal for under $15.
Dude,
So
the moment for me was at the beginning of 2020, when I worked in custom like home renovation and chimneys.
Right.
Every single morning at like 5 a.m., 5:30, I was buying chicken biscuits. And I would buy 2 chicken biscuits because 2 chicken biscuits were $2.20.
Right.
Okay. Last time that I was in the United States, I bought 1 chicken biscuit, and that 1 chicken biscuit was $4.
Right.
And I was like,
Well, yeah, I mean,
what?
it's the same. Even McDonald's, it used to be like the Egg McMuffins or whatever. It was like 2 for $3, 2 for
Yeah.
$3. I went there the other morning. It's 2 for $5 now. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, John, does it?
I don't know. Probably not. We'll find out. All right. So beyond that, I want to hop into some of these articles of what we have going on. I'm going to look at this one. This is the one that was like throwing me through a loop here a moment ago, just because it has a lot of things going on here. So it says crypto bounce on soft CPI, ETH whale liquidated, S&P 500 in correction. This is literally what's been going on, right? Over the last little bit. This is nothing
Right.
Specifically today besides softer CPI numbers. And then it says Bitcoin recovers to 84K. ETH and BTC levels last seen in December 2020. ETH whale liquidated is funny because we talked about an article about an ETH whale of like, it was like $320 million. They had put like $48 million to buy down their position, so they didn't get liquidated. So I'm assuming that this is the same ETH whale because it's been in the news multiple times, right? And I think it's probably the same one. But over hype contagion, whales accumulate 65K Bitcoin amid crypto crashes. 7 more reps report or support Loomis's plan to buy 1 million BTC, which is crazy. And then we saw this. They're trying to add staking to Fidelity ETH ETF. SEC delays its decision on XRP. We read an article about that yesterday, but they're adding Sol, Litecoin, and Doge. So Bitcoin heading towards 73K. 10x Research. This was a group that predicted that 73K Bitcoin is coming. And Bitcoin pain is tied to equities. They're talking about the equities markets, which just had a massive correction. House passes resolution to kill IRS DeFi broker rule. We saw that. We were really excited about that. And House committee starts stablecoin discussions. No plan for more crypto summits at the White House. Saylor, this was what we talked about yesterday, urges the U.S. to acquire 25% of Bitcoin's supply.
That would just
Is anybody surprised about that?
Bonkers, bro.
Anybody surprised about that? Can you believe that Saylor thinks they should buy 25% of Bitcoin supply?
Well, he already owns. He owns almost 5% right now, correct? He's almost at 1 million. So if they own 25% and he owns 5, that's 30. Man, I don't trust the government with 25%. What's that?
Yeah. And no, I was saying 100%. I agree with that. I definitely don't think. And then this Hong Kong company, Lead Benefit, buys 27 million Bitcoin, and Sony and Line join forces in a blockchain deal, which is interesting because we know that Sony's been working with Sonium and some things have been going on there. And then OKX blames Bybit for hack. And yeah, Bybit got hacked, and they were able to basically use phishing of all of the signers in Bybit. Right. So it had to be an inside job to an extent.
I heard somebody's. I heard somebody's computer got corrupted.
Well, all of them. So all of the signers.
But if the one computer is corrupted, and then it's connected to the network, they could easily corrupt the rest of them.
Well, yeah. It's just
you know what I mean?
Was a really
like
great
a keylogger and a signer, all that good stuff, whatever, however that works,
Yeah. And so this was pretty big. I love this. So I like Rumble. I think Rumble's cool. But Rumble embraces Trump era crypto strategy with $17 million Bitcoin purchase, which is pretty massive. I am liking that these tech companies are doing this. They're basically leveraging themselves against the government. So like if the Fed acts poorly, they have they're basically protecting themselves from that, and I think that this is an interesting article from Everstake Executive. Banks acting as validators risks centralization. Everybody knows, especially in the United States, that most of the banks in the United States are like owned by like the big banks in the United States. So there are a whole bunch of diversity, but the owners of the majority of them are like a handful, right? So like most things are owned by like JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, right? Charles Schwab, all these things, these huge titans are pretty much the ones that own everything, even though they're multiple names. So what they're claiming here, I read the take from the executive. He's saying that the banks could collude together to centralize the chains as they're validating networks. And of course they could, right? We know this, and we know that they would do it because
but I mean,
banks are not necessarily good actors. They're just here to make money.
How many validators are they going to own, though? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it would not be like of the Bitcoin network, right? Yeah, but not like of the Bitcoin network. It's just that we keep seeing banks coming into these like altcoin networks and
right, I understand, but
offering to validate for them, right? Or validating for these different things.
Say they stake a bunch of ETH and become ETH validators. ETH is pretty decentralized. Maybe not as much as Cardano, but it's pretty decentralized. What could a handful of banks, how could they really affect that? You know, and if they
Well,
do
I'm
try to
saying like
promote like a
if
double spend, it's like shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, I understand. Do we have a lag?
no, okay,
between
so
us or
that's
something?
true. But like if they go in, we do have a lag. I could reset my screen, leave and come back.
Nah, you're good. I'll just let you finish. I think it's
do
because you got tabs open and everything. I'll just let you finish doing what you're doing.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Well, while he does that, everybody, apparently we're having some technical issues. This is live TV. He's in Honduras. I'm in Arizona, so a little bit of lag. Was he was lagging last night too? Yeah, he is in Honduras, and I don't know what their infrastructure is like down there. But while we wait for John, everybody do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, share this with a friend. If everybody shared the stream tonight, we'd have more viewers. That's just how it works. We go live Monday through Friday at 6 p.m. PST, bringing you all the daily news nightly. And John's gone. So while he's gone, let's take a look at the charts again. Let's see what's going on over here. Is he back? All right. Well, I'm watching this on the 30-minute. I've been watching this all day. I've been in a couple of times, and then when it's popped up, I've moved my stop loss, and it's came back down and wigged me out. But eventually, we're now back above the 223 SR level, and eventually this is going to break. You know, we'll be conservative and only pull that flag right there. But it can only hit its head so many times before this break. So if you're looking for some kind of trade setup, boom. I mean, that's 2% right there. But 2%, 10x leverage, that's 20%. And guys, you don't need to be hitting 50, 60 X trades. It's unnecessary. On $1,000, Okay, say you have $1,000 in your trading portfolio, right? If you can make 3% a day, not compounded, just 3% on that $1,000 every day, that's $900 at the end of the month. You know, that could literally be just $900 in your pocket, and then you still have the same 1,000 to trade with. And that's only 3%. It's not that difficult to hit 3%, you know. So don't think you need 40x leverage and like thousands of dollars making a 500% return. I mean, it's cool, but most of the people that make those 500% returns, you know, 220% returns, they also have a lot of liquidations in their back pocket that you're not seeing. You know what I mean? They're only showing you the winners. They're not showing you the losers. And the ones that aren't, you know, they're hitting those, you know, 50, 60, 80% returns. They've probably been trading for quite a while. So always use proper risk management. And that's just how it goes. I don't know what's going on with John. Let me open Discord again because he might be trying to message me on Discord. Let me remove that because I don't know what's going to pop up. Okay, no. He has not. I don't know what's going on with John. So this might be the end of the show, folks. Let's go back to that. Let's share that. Unless there's a coin you guys want me to look at. I mean, we can look at some coins. Make that a little bit bigger. Let's see here. Let's see what's going on. So here's another thing. You know what? Let me bring this down a second. Let's bring up this. So we've been going over this for the past couple days. All right, let's see here. So we've been talking about trade setups. So I don't know how clear that is. Like I said, this is from the phone, but I've been talking to you guys about like a textbook trade or an easy trade is if you got your 200 moving average, right? Once you break the 200 moving average, you long with a tight stop loss right below, right? So like this one, this is on the 1 minute. So we broke, we came, retested, we started to go, right? So when we go and boom, just like that. So this is that same one. See, it broke, it retested, took off. And it's even more bullish when you break it, it comes back, and then your 21 crosses and you're off to the races, right? And this is when Bitcoin, this is earlier today when Bitcoin was at 81.9. And this is essentially the trade I was in all day that just got stopped out a little bit ago. And it works on multiple time frames. So what is this? This is the Bitcoin. So we, like I said right here, you know, this is where I'm, oh, that's, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now we just need the 5 minute to regain to continue the trend. And we go to the 5 minute. Well, the 5 minute was getting ready to hit. It did eventually hit. And then we go to the 30 minute, same thing, 30 minute crossing. So it works across multiple time frames. It doesn't matter. You know, when price action is crossing the 200, that's a bullish indicator. I don't know if it's because the bots kick in and they start trading. I don't know if a lot of people just trade that way, but once it clicks like that, we're getting some echo of your thing. Once you get past it, it just takes off, you know. And then when you get to 21, so this is I re-entered, so entered again as we crossed. I got stopped out on the first one earlier. So that was this trade up here where I entered. I got stopped out. I moved my stop loss up. Boom, got stopped out for 8.7. And that's another thing. Once your trade gets into profit, you know, at least move your stop loss to break even. I mean, because what's the worst that could happen? You come down, you get stopped out. Oh no, look for a new entry. You know, it's better than getting stopped out at down 10%. You know, I would rather be up 20%, have it come wick down and stop me out at plus 8% than wick down and stop me out at negative 10%, you know, and you can always re-enter. And that's exactly what I did here. So, you know, entered again as we crossed the 200 MA on the 5 minute. So if you remember up here, this is right here, the 5 minute. We were trying to cross, right? Well, eventually we did cross, and boom, that's when I re-entered. And then you can see the 30 minute, it finally crossed, right? And then this was, so the 30 minute crossed, the 200 stop loss and profit, first take profit at 84,000. Pisses me off because we never hit 84,000. We got to like $83,980 and then it reversed, right? And what? And now look, we just hit 84,000. So, you know, and sometimes that happens. So we just hit 84,000. But as you can see, when we come down to the end, it came back down. I had moved my stop loss into profit. And once the new day came up, we started to revert. It came down. It stopped me out at 83,400. And then we go live. So I'm not able to look for trades and get into trades, right? We live, boom, of course it goes right to 84,000 to my first take profit. So it's just how it works with trading. Trading it's math, you know, do the maths. JB wants me to look at Sol. We'll look at Sol real quick before John continues.
Can you hear me?
So, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I was going to say the last article. I was going to say there's still a little bit of lag, but the last article that I had was just about South Korea getting regulations in place for institutional investment. So beyond that, I think my Chrome browser just doesn't want to work anymore. So I got to delete all the stuff in my Chrome browser, reset the whole computer. I'm using this other browser, but anyways. So it's
I think what you need to do is take some of that hair and nail salon money.
Yes.
When you get back to the States and get you a decent computer, sir.
Oh, that's definitely what it is. This was a decent computer a couple years ago, but man, technology goes.
Well, yeah, but we all know how technology moves, bro. And being a decent computer for everyday activities is different. I mean, remember everything I was going through? All my, you know, made me look like max headroom glitching and this and that till I finally upgraded the desktop here. Yeah. You know, it was a great computer until I started using it to stream.
Yeah.
And like you know, having 50 million tabs open. So let's look at Sol real quick. First, let's go to the daily. All right. On the daily, Sol, kind of like Bitcoin. We have this nice, of course, move it up a little bit. We have this nice bullish div on the daily. Whoops. Boom. We did not quite get an engulfing green candlestick 2 days ago, which would have been a lot more bullish, but we did get a continuation green candlestick, which put us above this big red one. We're in the red just a little bit right now, but money flow looks to be slightly curving back to the upside, which is nice. You see that. It's getting a little bit of curve. We want to see something like this. Even if it dips a little bit, we want to see it like that. We definitely want to see the money level coming back up. It doesn't have to go straight to the green, but it does need to come back to the upside. VWAP to the upside a little bit. RSI bouncing to the upside. Let's see here. We are below the 200, which is super bearish. Okay. So this is definitely in bearish territory. Get rid of all these. You can see, so Sunday, March 25th, we had that giant pump. That's when Trump decided to semi-rug pull the whole market by tweeting out what was going to be in a strategic reserve. And then we find out, well, no, it's not going to be in a strategic reserve. It's going to be in a stockpile. And Monday, the whole market collapsed, right? So we are below the 200. We have multiple, we're getting a death cross right here on the 50. So the 50 is crossing the 200. This is a death cross. Now, death crosses are lagging indicators. Death crosses a lot of the time will signal a bottom. And if we take that in confluence with this bullish div right here, money flow slightly going to the upside, it's a pretty safe bet. Of course, it's not a certainty, but it is a safe bet that SOL has bottomed or is extremely near the bottom. Okay. For whatever reason, SOL has just been bleeding and bleeding harder than most coins. But it's not dying. SOL's going to be here. It'll probably end up being an ETF this year. SOL ain't going nowhere. Just because it's shitty tech doesn't mean it's not going to stay, right? You know, Cardano's awesome tech, but it gets no love, you know. So let's go down a little bit. Let's check out the 4 hour. Nothing really inspires me on the 4 hour. We are back above the 21. This is good. We need to hold at least above the 21 right here and start working our way through the moving averages, the 50, the 200. And you can see we haven't been able to, we tried to get above it, couldn't, tried to get above it, and then we just dumped, right? So we really need to flip the 21. Let's go down to a more micro view though. So now we did get above the 21 on the 2 hour. We are hitting our head on the 50. So I would like to see us flip the 50. Money flow, we're getting a nice sharp cut on the money flow to the upside, but the VWAP is coming down, and this is going to be a leading indicator to the momentum wave. As you can see, VWAP goes up, momentum finally turns. VWAP goes up, momentum finally turns. VWAP comes down, momentum turns. VWAP, you guys get the picture, right? So this is coming down, so I would expect this VWAP to be topping out here soon. Let's make it a little bigger so we can see if we got any. No divergences on the momentum waves because this is a lower low. This is a lower low. So we don't see anything right there. That is a similar pattern though. That's similar to the Cardano XRP. Remember the dip down, the pop up. I don't have trend lines set here because I don't really trade SOL. But I mean, this is going to be an SR level. We got that low that's in the valley of the node, right? We're sitting on top of a high volume node right here. Get some more data on there. Wow, that's all the data that's really, because it hasn't been this low in so long, right? Well, let's go down to the smaller time frames. 15 minute, we're getting a nice little momentum to the upside here, and it pumped us back above the 21, but it looks like we might be losing it. We really need to be above that. At least the moving averages are in the correct order. Down here on the 15, you got 21, 50, 200. That's what we want to see. And you can see we lost the 21. We had support at the 50, rode it, bounced back up, and now we're trying to regain on the 15 minute, which is good to see. Go down a little further. See if the 1 minute. So the 1 minute. See, now this, we might be getting ready for a good scalp on the 1 minute. Okay. So you got momentum coming down. You got VWAP getting ready to round out, right? You got the price action coming back to the 21. So the 21's like a magnet. But you got the 21 heading to the 200. And this is kind of what I showed you guys earlier, right? We break the 200, we pump. Now we're retesting the 200 back to the 21. We get this 21 to continue cross. We get a bounce off the 21 and it takes off, right? So we're forming this flag and look, it's trying to bounce. You can see it's trying to bounce off the 21 in real time as we're talking about it and get back above the 200. So this is definitely something you could play right here, especially with the momentum wave. It's definitely not topped out. VWAP's flat. I expect it to start curving. If we get a bounce out of this, like it looks like we're getting ready to, I'm expecting a green dot. Look, VWAP, boom, new candle. VWAP starting to move to the upside. And this is probably going to play out in real time. And that's going to be, well, it's going to take us almost back to this SR level that we drew on the 2 hour of the right in the valley of the high volume nodes, right? And if it does play out, it's only 1%, but you got to remember, this is the 1 minute. These are scalps. You scalp on the 1 minute. You don't open 4 hour, 5 hour trades based on a 1 minute chart because it moves so quick. But 1% at 10% at 10x leverage, boom. You know, so if I was going to play this, I don't have the time to get into it real quick, but so I'm going to play this. I'm going to.
I mean, it's going. Right now. We're watching it.
Huh? I closed all my.
We're watching it. It's going.
I know, but I closed all my tabs. I closed out the exchange and everything on the computer. See, there's no. Oh, you guys can't see the tabs up there. I closed them all out because we were getting ready to end the show. But as you can see, so I would have opened right here. I'd have my stop loss somewhere right below the 200, you know, because if you get stopped out, you get stopped out. Here we go, long position. So you're going to open it right here. That's going to be your target. And you want like a 3-to-1 ratio, right? This is a 4-to-1. So this is even better. So you could even extend. So right there, about a 3-to-1. You want at least a 3-to-1 ratio when you're trading. So that puts your stop loss at about 125.46, which is well below the 200. I wouldn't have it that low. You know, I would keep it closer to the 200. And then your take profit is going to be up here at about 127. And that, look, boom. I mean, there it goes, right? Proof is in the pudding, and it's moving. So you're already up. You know, you take your, you know, I like to do a take profit. So I'll like split the difference. So if my target was a 1% move, I would put it at like 0.5, and that would be my first take profit. That first take profit depends on how big the position is, but I normally take out about 50% of my position. You know, so say my position was $100, and my first take profit, I would remove, you know, half of that. So, and look, boom, playing out right there. It's a money printer. That strategy is a money printer. The thing is, even though this works on all time frames, you have to scale your time horizon. Okay. Think of it like this. We're on the 1 minute, right? So every one of these candles is a 1 minute. If this right here, we entered here, we got 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, you know, so we're roughly 3.5 minutes into this trade, right? Well, if this was an hourly chart, that would be 3.5 hours. You know, it would take 3.5 hours for this to play out. So you have to understand time horizons. You have to understand it. Sometimes it's kind of hard to wrap your mind around because that looks like a massive candle, right? You know, when you're looking at it, it looks like a big candle. You know, all these candles, oops. It looks like a big candle, but in reality, damn, this thing is going to go right to my target, isn't it? That's crazy. I wish I had, if I would have had Bitunix open, I would have took this trade. Look at that.
Look, it's going to hit it.
Bam. See, now the next thing you got to worry about, it's pumping so hard. The next thing you got to worry about is gapping the 21. You know, anybody that's been in this channel for a long time, they know that the 21 is a magnet. We always want to touch the 21. It wants to suck us back. Boom. Up. What'd we do? We went down and created a flag till we hit the 21, right? So boom, up. What are we going to do? We're probably going to stall out at about the end of this move. If we don't completely retrace, God dang, bro. Bam. Target hit.
Yep. Spot on. Right now, if it goes all the way back down right now, that would be crazy.
Live on stream. John, cut this. We need to clip this, bro.
I'm cutting it. It's cutting it. I'm cutting it, man. That was good. That was good.
So boom. Look at that. Right.
You already hit your take profit. Now you're
and
going
a reversal. So now, if we stall out right here, we can get rid of this. We can get rid of this. So now what you're waiting to see if we're going to stall out. You know, we're probably going to get some resistance at this 127 mark, right? Because when we go out to the 2 hour, I believe it was on the 2 hour, right? That we had. Oh, no, 132. This is the high volume node. 127 was the high volume node. My bad. 132 was the base. But still, that's an SR level because it's right at the high volume node. You know, so boom, right to support resistance level. Let's go back. Now look, boom, hit the target. Now I will bet dollars to donuts that this thing is going to do something like this. Boom, as the 21 comes up. You know, and if the market is still bullish, you're going to create another kind of pendant. You're going to hit, and then you're going to be looking for another entry. So that is how, just like textbook, that kind of trading is. And you can just do it all day long, all day. You know, we just happened to come across that perfect setup. It's not like that setup is just there all freaking day, right? Because if we go back to Bitcoin and we look at the 1 minute, you know, once we broke right here, I think this is probably about the time of that first post I showed you guys. You know, we went up, we came back down, and we took. But look, we just stayed above it the whole time. We stayed above the 200 essentially from here to about here. What is that? It's 8 hours. So it's not like once you finally break the 100 or the 200 and start gapping it like that, it takes a while to come back. So, all right, we went a little long. Technical difficulties. Some guy, take us out of here.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and repost, share the space. We come to you live every night, Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. And we're here to give you the crypto news nightly. And we have some awesome TA and give you all the new updates of everything that's going on in the ecosystem. So thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm going to restart and update my computer. Let's get it.
Hit that like button.